Morning, everyone, and welcome to the seventh episode of season 3 of Forensic Fridays. Today, our topic is going to be remote data acquisition with BEC-x. With me today is Saksham Rawat, my colleague, and he is going to be showing this live. He will not only explain the concept, but he will also show a demonstration of the same. So please feel free, if you have any questions, type them in the chat box and we will then later on address those questions at the end of the session. So I will now hand it over to Saksham. Please enjoy this episode of Forensic Friday. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Good morning, everyone. Hope you are all doing fine. Let's start today's Forensic Friday with a short introduction of our organization. So let's start with a brief introduction about the Belkasoft. Belkasoft is a forensic tool that is used to acquire and analysis of digital evidence. While acquiring the evidence, there are many problems that comes. So one of geographical limitations, which slows down the process of investigation. To solve this problem, Belkasoft came up with a solution that is Belkasoft Remote Acquisition, or we can say Belkasoft R. Belkasoft R will be useful in cases when an incident response analyst or a digital forensic investigator needs to gather evidence from a remote location with the help of remote access. Belkasoft R is a tool especially developed for the remote extraction of hard drives, mobile drives, RAMs, connected mobile devices, and different types of specific data. These are the some key features of the Belkasoft remote acquisitions. It will support straightforward acquisition, acquire the entire drive, RAM memory, or the selected artifacts, crucial for investigation. Or we can also use it for partial acquisition. That is, we can only extract the selected artifacts from the whole memory. And it support for various network configuration, whether it is in local network or it is in global network or it is connected through a VPN. Belka R also support mobile device support in Android mobile and iOS mobile located at different geographical areas. Belkasoft R is very easy to deploy, and it extract the data in the agent such as GPO or WMI. It supports different type of acquisition types, that is remote hard drives or removable disk drive that is connected to the system, selected artifacts from the endpoint, or remote mobile device connected to the endpoint, or it also supports the RAM capture. Memory dumps that is come from the RAM capture are valuable source of evidence and volatile information. Memory dumps may contain password of the encrypted volumes and even the credential such as Facebook, Instagram, and other social media sites or mail networks. We can deploy the agent. Basically, what is deploying the agent? We are sending some piece of code to the endpoint that will give the access of that endpoint to extract the data. And we can deploy that agent with the help of GPO, that is group policy objects, and with the help of WMI, Windows Management Instrumentation, and with the help of a local server. Belkasoft R. Key feature of the Belkasoft R is a schedule and acquire. We can give a time period that we have to acquire the data at a specific time period, not immediately. That is the key feature of Belkasoft R. Choose whether to compress or hash the data, schedule when to start an acquisition and when to upload acquired data to the central location. We can also use SSL encryption for the confidentiality of data, as evidence is a confidential data. So we have to make sure that there will be no data drilling in the evidences. So after using Belkasoft R, we have to analyze the data that we can done with the Belkasoft Evidence Center X. Belkasoft R is the tool used for acquiring the data. And for the analysis of data, we can use Belkasoft X. So now let's start the demonstration of the tool that is Belkasoft R. Initially, when we start a Belkasoft R, we have to provide a server setting, that are local server settings machine on which Belkasoft R is installed. So in server settings, we will provide server local address and port. Port should be open that we can find with the help of resource manager, and there is condition for port that it should be on TCP IP protocol only. We can use SSL certificates for the confidentiality of data and preventing from any data tampering or diddling. After providing server local address and port, we can also provide our external IP when the endpoints are in external server. So after providing, it is a one-time process. So after providing the server local address, we can now go for deploying the agent in the endpoint. It will support two types of operating system, that is Windows and Mac OS. Then we will click on the operating system which we want to acquire. In my case, I am selecting the Windows. Then it will provide three options. These are the options for the endpoints, that whether endpoint is in same address range or whether the endpoint is outside the router or their both endpoints and remote acquisition are behind the router. So let's select my endpoints are in same address range as my remote acquisition. Then we click on next. Then it will give three options, that is local, GPO and WMI. As we discussed in presentation, that we can deploy agent in three ways, that is local, GPO and WMI. Local just need your IP address. GPO will use group policy objects, which you have to copy the agent in a group domain folders, and WMI use the protocol of Windows management instrumentation. Then we click on local. We will provide the endpoint IP and the open port of the endpoint device. Endpoint is the device from where we have to acquire the evidences. So we will provide, or we can configure automatically. It is the feature of Belkasoft Art that it will configure the IP and ports automatically. Then we click on next button. It will show where you have to deploy the agent, and it will give the information about the endpoints and endpoint locations. Then we will click on complete. It will give interface like this. You can also track your task by going into task, and it will give logs of the deploying agent, whether it is successful or not successful. When the deploying of agent is successful, then it will show a green signal, means you are ready to acquire the data from the endpoint. In my case, my client ID and port is 192.168.1.51 and port is 36732. And the location of my endpoint, that is from where I have to acquire the data, is Delhi. So I will select my endpoint and click on acquire. It will give me four options. First is disk drive, second is artifacts, third is mobile, and fourth is RAM. In disk drive option, it will give whether you want to acquire physical data or logical data. Physical data includes the unallocated space also, logical data, only the live data on the disk. And in artifacts, it will give you options to only acquire the selected artifacts. That is, it is a very quick process because there are many things in evidence that are not need for investigation. We can do with the help of this option that we can acquire only the selected artifacts which we want to investigate. Third, we have the options of mobile. Belkasoft remote acquisition have various types of support various type of chipsets in Android, and it will give ADB backup, Android file system copy, and MTP and PTP. MTP and PTP will give the media files. ADB backup will you provide Android debugging backup, and Android file system copy will copy the system. Same with Apple. Apple will provide iTunes backup, jailbroken device image. If your Apple device is jailbroken, it will provide the image of whole device, AFC. Now, RAM capture. RAM capture is a very important aspect in terms of investigation, as it is a volatile memory. If we shut down the system, all this RAM memory will be deleted. So why RAM capturing is important? It gives the detail which live program is running in the computer or system from where we are acquiring the evidence. It will give detail about the credentials, encrypted drives, and apps that are running in the system, which will help us to investigate the client is using which type of application and for what purpose. We can also calculate the hash values, that is SHA-1, SHA-256 and MD5, which we can verify with the uploaded image. In my case, I am acquiring the disk drive, that is S drive, and I am acquiring the logical drive. It will give you two options: store an image on the endpoint before upload. Means you just have to acquire the data and store the image. Second option is transfer an image directly to server. Means you have to upload the image to the server that will be accessible to all the users that are currently on that server. It will give you the image format, that is two format, E01 and raw format. And checksum SHA-1, SHA-256, MD5, which will be verified with the uploaded image. And you can also click on the multi-part image, which will create a chunk of the whole data and create multi-images. So next key feature of the Belkasoft R is the when the acquisition should start. It will give you two options, that you want to acquire data immediately or at a given period of time. So we can start it immediately. It will give a server path image where we have to store the data and the image name. Then we click on start. It will give the notice of acquisition of drive has been started successfully. We can track this acquisition in the task bar where it will show 100% completed. Then we can use that data for analysis. Now it created the image which we can use in Belkasoft Evidence Center X. So our system is Dell desktop, and the image of that have image of that evidence is created, that is E01 format. We can import that image in Belkasoft Evidence Center X. Belkasoft Evidence Center X is a very powerful tool for the analysis of digital evidence, as it supports more than 10,000 artifacts for analysis. It has built-in SQLite viewer, which will be used for analysis of databases. Databases will be of Facebook, WhatsApp, maps, anything. And it is also have SQL hex viewer, which will give the detail of hex code of the files. Then we will, for analysis, we will select the or import the image file from where we have stored the file. In my case, I have stored it on desktop. It will support different types of image format, that is .a.d1, .e01, dd image, dmg images, raw images, virtual machine. Maximum all formats that are available. Now I will support the I will select the E01 format that I have created from remote acquisition. It will give detail about the NTFS file system, system name, IP addresses, and port name, and date and time of acquisition. Then we will click on next. It will ask you for carving, that is deep carving or no carving. Deep carving means extracting all types of data, whether it is in unallocated space or it is in deleted space. Then it will show the list of artifacts which we will use for analysis. We can deselect and select the specific artifact that we can use for analysis. It will ask whether to calculate the file hash values or not. And it will ask ignore files larger than 200 MB. You must, it is up to the investigation officer whether you want to calculate the hash value of 200 MB file or not. Then we will click next. It will give you option to identify picture. Belkasoft Evidence Center X has the feature that we can select the filters or specific keywords that it will automatically identify that types of filter in the evidence, that we can select guns, pornography, faces, taxes. The next option is search for encrypted files and volumes. It will carve the image, and it will carve and identify the encrypted files and volumes from the image that we have acquired from remote acquisition. Then it will give detail about the path, source type, profile name, carving, artifacts that are we using for analysis. and keyframe extraction and picture detection. All these are the properties of the image files and configuration that we have given for the analysis. Then we will click on submit. It will give detail that data is importing in Belkasoft Evidence Center X. As we have selected the deep carving, so it will take some time for carving all the data from the image file. While data is importing in Belkasoft Evidence Center X, it will create a log file which will give detail about the data extraction. It will give initialize कब हुआ, डाटा का स्टेटस क्या है, एनालिसिस क्या हो रहा है, टास्क फिनिश हुआ या फेल्ड हुआ, ये सारी डिटेल हमें लॉग फाइल्स में मिलेंगी. Then we will also go for dashboard. It will identify different types of artifact. It is phone number, payment card number, postal codes, Windows full path. These all artifacts are automatically detected by Belkasoft Evidence Center X. Belkasoft Evidence Center X have different features like connection graph, file system, hex viewer. As I have already told you that it has inbuilt SQLite viewer. There are some things that a normal database SQLite browser couldn't identify. They are general files, write ahead logs, which are not visible in a normal SQLite viewer. That we will be able to analyze with the help of SQLite viewer and give the detail. General files contain the deleted data or recently deleted data of databases. If we open it with the SQLite browser, it will commit and change the data, which will be considered a data tampering, and it will also change the hash value of the databases. There is an option in Belkasoft Evidence Center X, that is connection graph. Connection graph gives the detail about the connection of data from other artifacts and other. It will provide a link of different artifacts with each other. That the phone number is linked with call ID or email ID. The payment card number is done with different postal codes and phone numbers. It will give the link analysis, which we can use as a visual analysis of the data, which will be great help in our investigation part. So here is our image that is successfully imported. We can do the analysis on this image. This will give the detail about the documents that are contained in image. We can see the document in item text, and we can also have their hash values in hex folder. And it will give in property section, it will give the detail about the selected file, what is the path, whether the file is deleted or not, status, and file size, everything. Or same with the picture, we can have the picture details, picture preview, and the detail about picture in the properties section. It will give the status, whether the picture is processed or not. It will give the file is deleted or not. In my case, I have selected deep carving. It is showing file is deleted. In that case also, I have got the file and pictures from the unallocated space, from the deleted space. This data is also called metadata. Metadata is something that data about data. It will give the deep analysis of a single file, whether the file deleted, what is the pixels of the file, data source, profile type, origin path. These are the details we can get from the metadata. Similar with contacts, we can select contacts. It will give the contact details, which accounts are linked to the desktops. Now we will select on other files. These files are something which are database files, which we can use and analysis, which we can use for analysis in the SQLite. These all things are called artifacts, that it is giving the contacts, documents, other file picture. These all are the artifacts. And Belkasoft Evidence Center X has two views, that is overview and structure view. In structure view, we can get the details of the imported image and what was in image. It will show a tree-like structure that from root to leaf. And in overview, it will show the artifacts that are included in the image. So in a structure view, we have an image that is Dell desktop image. It will be imported as E01 format. Dell desktop has volume, which has the NTFS file format. And these are the artifacts that are included in image files. These are the documents. And we have also some other files that are something like logs and databases, pictures that are deleted, which will be carved by deep carving, and it has system files, that is file links. How let me show you different types of artifacts that are supported by Belkasoft Evidence Center X. This is the database file, and it has artifacts such as chats, contacts, pictures, calls, videos, file transfer, voicemail, audios. Now we will go to chat section. It have browser have favorite session URL. It contains history of URLs that the user has served, geolocations, pictures, tracks, videos, voicemails, including the Safari browser, Android WhatsApp chats. When we import a chat from a WhatsApp, it comes in a database file, that is GB file, which is not be analyzed with a normal SQLite browser. We can use it in SQLite browser, which is already a built-in tool in Belkasoft Evidence Center X, which will give detail about everything: agent chat assignment, call link, call logs, call participant, what will be the chats, group participant, number of groups in the WhatsApp account. That all details we will get with the help of Belkasoft Evidence Center X. Same with browser. Safari browser also have a database file that contains the URLs, sessions, and favorites. URL contains which URL has been visited by the user, that Manchester United www.bbc.com. It will SQLite where or Belkasoft Evidence Center X give every single detail about the data that we have imported in it. It is a complete analysis and very powerful tool in perspective of investigation. It also have access to iOS WhatsApp databases, similar like Android databases. It will give the chats, contact logs, group logs, everything. These all Belkasoft support more than 1,000 artifacts, which is its USP or a key feature, which gives great help in analysis of different types of data, including audios, browsers, calls, documents, file transfer, geolocation data, everything. Belkasoft Evidence Center X also have filter, or we can say timeline. Filter provide whether we have to, what filter we have to use in the data for better analysis, because data is a very big amount. So we have to extract a small information. We have different metadata about that data, that crime is committed at a certain date, और इस टाइम पे हुआ है, डाटा रेंज ये थी, बुक मार्क था या नहीं था, जो डाटा डिलीटेड था या नहीं था, वो सारा हम विद द हेल्प ऑफ फिल्टर्स इन Belkasoft Evidence Center X we can apply the filters and extract that बड़े अमाउंट में से एक छोटा अमाउंट निकाल पाएंगे फॉर द बेटर एनालिसिस. दिस इज अ टाइमलाइन विच वी कैन यूज फॉर डेट फिल्टर, कि हमें पता है कि क्राइम 12 जैन से 17 जैन के बीच हुआ है, तो हम सारा डाटा क्यों एनालाइज करेंगे, हम बस वो डाटा एनालाइज करेंगे जिसके बीच में crime commit हुआ है, it will definitely help the investigator officer for better analysis and quick analysis. And it will also narrow down the investigation and give a quick result that is very necessary in terms of investigation. Quick result helps to catch the culprit. We can also search the keywords, as I told in the filter option. We can search the keywords in the data with the help of filter option. We can give a different type of filter, that it contains, does not contains, end with, in, is not, start with. We will give the keyword value and search for that keyword from whole data, and we will get the only data which contain that keyword. It's up to you which operation are you performing with the filter. There are n number of filter and Belkasoft Evidence Center X. It will also map the geolocation coordinates for better understanding, because it is very hectic to understand latitude and longitude within text format. If we plot it on map, it will give a nice visualization and help for fast and quick analysis. It also has built-in registry viewer, plist viewer, search results, timelines. Belkasoft Center also give detail about the call logs, whether the call is outgoing, incoming, or what will the time. And you can also apply the filter in a certain column that will give detail what is will be the time कि कॉलर कौन था, डाटा सोर्स क्या था, डायरेक्शन क्या थी, आउटगोइंग थी, इनकमिंग थी, पार्टिसिपेंट कौन कौन थे, प्रोफाइल का नेम क्या था, ये सारी चीजें. और सेम विद दिस कि कितने कॉल काउंट्स थे, कौन कॉल ही था, और व्हाट्सएप की कॉल थी या नॉर्मल कॉल थी, ये सारी डिटेल हमें विद द हेल्प ऑफ एनालिसिस बेल्कासॉफ्ट एविडेंस सेंटर एक्स में प्रोवाइड करता है. अब डॉक्यूमेंट्स की हैश वैल्यूज क्या थी, स्टेटस वैलिड था या नहीं था, डिलीटेड था नहीं डिलीट था, हमने सेलेक्ट करी थी SHA-18256 हैश वैल्यू कैलकुलेट करें, तो हमें फॉर द इंटीग्रिटी ऑफ द डाटा हमें दोनों हैश वैल्यूज मिल जाएंगी which we can use for check the integrity of the data. All the artifacts and the hash values are also included in the report that will be acceptable in any law enforcement academy. Now we will have videos also in the databases. It also gives the applications details, which driver we are using. All things in the structure format is in proper category. एक परफेक्ट कैटेगरी में हमें डाटा मिला हुआ है ताकि हेक्टिक ना हो इन्वेस्टिगेटर के लिए कि डाटा को एनालाइज करना और उस पर रिपोर्ट क्रिएट करना. We have geolocation coordinates, that is latitude and longitude. और origin types क्या थी कि taxi rights थी. In this case we are analyzing the data of a taxi driver form. So it will give the taxi rights कहाँ थी और कहाँ पे वो available था उस टाइम पे. Now I will show a case which I have done on this Belkasoft Evidence Center X. It will give detail about different types of artifacts. It has total 2,547 artifacts in the data. This data is in huge amount. To analyze this type of data, we have to use a software that will decrease the workload of an investigator and properly investigate the data. It includes artifacts such as what are the USB device that is connected to system, what we are browsing in Internet Explorer, type URLs, कौन से URL टाइप किए गए थे, Microsoft Office की डिटेल्स की, Microsoft Office की कौन सी फाइल्स थी, PowerPoint की कौन सी फाइल थी, और same with network registry viewer. We can also have a feature of registry viewer which we can use for the analysis. विंडोज में कौन कौन से यूजर थे, उनकी लिस्ट क्या थी, विंडोज में अकाउंट्स क्या कौन कौन से अवेलेबल थे। इट विल गिव कि एडमिन अकाउंट था या ग्रुप अकाउंट था या यूजर अकाउंट था। ये सारी डिटेल हमें इससे मिल जाएंगी। हमें फाइल ट्रांसफर की डिटेल मिल जाएगी कि कौन सी फाइल ट्रांसफर हुई और किस मेथड से हुई, कि व्हाट्सएप से हुई, टीसीपी से हुई, एफटीपी से हुई, प्रोटोकॉल्स। ये सारी डिटेल्स हमें फाइल ट्रांसफर आर्टिफैक्ट से प्रोवाइड होती हैं। यूएसबी डिवाइसेस में लॉग्स मिलते हैं कि कौन कौन सी यूएसबी डिवाइस कनेक्टेड थी और कौन से पोर्ट पे कनेक्टेड थी, किस टाइम पे कनेक्टेड थी। एवरीथिंग, every single detail about the evidence we will analyze in Belkasoft Evidence Center X. Say it will provide the metadata about a single USB device. That USB device name is CSV, which type of USB is, storage capacity of USB, flash drive थी, format क्या था, every single detail about the external devices. So after the analysis of after acquiring, we did the analysis. After the analysis, the main part of investigation is report generating. It will include every type of artifacts and the analysis data. In Belkasoft Evidence Center X, it will provide the different format for report generation. That is text format, PDF format, HTML format, XLS, different types of format. And it will ask for the target folder where you want to store the report. In advanced option, it will give the detail about formatting the report, what will be the header text, what will be the footer text, orientation of the data, style, how the groups in the file will be splitted, columns कौन कौन से होंगे फाइल में। ये सारी चीजें हमें मिलेंगी रिपोर्ट्स में। So here is the report of a E01 format, that is drive 9E01. It will give the detail whether the file is compressed or not, what will be the MD5 of the file. We have the trial version of Belkasoft Evidence Center X. That's why we have got only the 50% of the report or 50% of the artifacts. Only 50% of the items have been added to the reports. Report will give detail about every single artifacts, every single analysis we have done on the data. As a summary, Belkasoft remote acquisition is used to acquire the evidence through remote network, and for analysis, we use the Belkasoft Evidence Center X. By combining both these tools, it will solve the n number of problems that are facing by the investigators, and there are conditions for there are some checkpoints before deployment of agent in Belkasoft remote acquisition. That is, there will be a proper access of the endpoint. That is the system from where we have to acquire the data. You have admin rights, username and password. Second thing is Windows Defender firewall will be switched off on that system. That will be the must condition for acquiring the data remotely. And you can find open ports in resource monitor. That will be also a key point or a necessary point before starting the acquisition. Or for the external address or to acquire data from an external server, you have to provide the external address in the server settings. Here we can see there is an option for external server settings. If you want to acquire data from external server, not a local server, that you have to provide an external IP and the open port of that server. So that's all from the demonstration side. If you have any question, please raise your question in the chat box or you can open the mic for the same.
Thank you all. Thank you for joining.